What? They are flying 3 billion pods into Null Sec. How cool is that? Is that cool? I don't know. Always nice to see what kind of PvP content is flying to Horde space. Yesterday we had a small and crazy CCP fleet here. It's always nice that the game developer CCP is bringing out some new small fleets from time to time, doing some suicide runs in Horde space. They lost 12 billion yesterday, so let's have a closer look on their fittings. I mean, CCP naturally has to know how to fit well and properly, and of course they also know that they are going to be massively outnumbered. The CCP Alliance is bringing their combat pilots, CCP-B, CCP Amazon, CCP Swift, and GM Banquet to the Horde space. By the way, what does GM actually stand for? Is it something like Grandmaster in chess? So they are flying 2 Bhaalgorns and 2 supporting Oneros into Horde space. Here we have CCP-B in his Oneros. Hey, some advice. If you see that someone is burning to the gate, don't shoot them. You will have an aggro timer and you can't use the gate, so he will be able to escape. Always follow him and catch him on the other side instead. Let's take a closer look at the fittings. First of all, big thanks to CCP for bringing the fun. I'm pretty sure they know they're gonna die out here, and they're not flying cheap. You could make the fittings way cheaper. The Bhaalgorn, it's an attempt at a Nano Bhaalgorn. By the way, Nano is short for Nano Gang, which basically means will be used in a small gang that goes very fast to be able to outfly the big Null Sec blobs. In our case, they tried to outfly our Horde standing fleet. They fitted a nanofiber in the low slots and polycarbon rig. Both increase the speed and agility of the ship, but I think it maybe is super weird to fit that to a Bhaalgorn, because a Bhaalgorn is usually just only a very slow ship. But it's interesting to find out why CCP is doing that. Even with an MWD, they are very slow, but by fitting an MJD, hey, they can jump 100 kilometers away every few minutes, so if you count that, then they can for sure move quite fast and keep up maybe also with other smaller and faster ships. Extremely interesting with CCP is fitting and playing here. So they also fit beams in the high slots, which are long-ranged. So maybe their main point will be that they are likely trying to stay at range and snipe the poor Horde standing fleet, and then use their NOS and Web and MJD as escaping tools. Because of the MJD, and that's their point maybe, you cannot pin them down without a scram, since MJD works also in bubbles. If you want to be able to get close enough to their scam range, you have to come within Noid plus Web range of the Bhaalgorn, which is super scary because they can just Noid you out easy. But, I mean, CCP is flying here against the Horde standing fleet. Totally crazy people. I believe they'll fight anything that comes in as long as there's still one single pilot in the Horde standing fleet. And he has enough ammo, he will for sure guard the Horde space. And if it's a suicide run, well, it is what it is. He will reship and fight again. So CCP's idea is that they stay at range and snipe ships, and if anything comes close, they will MJD away. If Horde is able to scram them, then they Web plus NOS them until they are dead. Or no more cap will be left for the scrams. Then they will MJD away. I mean, that's a pretty badass tactic, but I like it. They know they're completely outnumbered by Horde, then of course the tactic fits perfect. I mean, the main weakness is that this is very expensive to fly, and for what it does, hey, you can fit something. I mean, like an Armageddon Navy, that's doing something similar for a lot less cost. And they are using snake implants for 3 billions to increase speed, so a total of 5 billions, ship and pod, is expensive if you know you will die out here. The other weakness is, if you can scram them with some newt-resistant heavy tackle, then you can do whatever you want, since their beam lasers will not track you well, even if you orbit outside their massive web range. They used 2 logistics Oneros armor ships, so they tried to keep their Bhaalgorns alive. They used a 100 afterburner. That's an oversized afterburner. You know, the normal size for cruisers is 10. So the speed is much higher, but hey, with a horrible agility, for sure a small signature radius, not so extremely high likely with an MWD. So the result is that as long as they're moving, you're almost impossible to track and very, very hard to hit. So they were basically just trying to keep Horde's standing fleet at range, snipe them, and then use the Oneris as repairs. By the way, the Snake's pods are a common choice in low sec for nano gangs, because you need a speed advantage to engage the bigger group, or to stay away. Cool tactic. It worked for a while, but it's just not enough for the Horde standing fleet. Every third pilot here fits a scram, you know? So, by the way, 3 billion pods in Null Sec, CCP.